World Geography, Southeast Asia and Oceania. Ring of Fire. Here are the learning objectives. 1. What might happen if you lived close to the Ring of Fire? 2. Describe earthquakes and tsunamis. 3. Describe the process of volcanic eruption. 4. How can human beings diminish the effects of a natural disaster? Introduction. Layers of the Earth. The lithosphere. This is the crust and the uppermost mantle. This constitutes the hard and rigid outer layer of the Earth. Beneath the lithosphere is the asthenosphere, and this area can deform under pressure. The lithosphere is broken up into multiple tectonic plates. Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire, this is an active geologic zone around the rim of the Pacific Ocean. It's where most volcanoes occur and where most other seismic events occur too. 8 major tectonic plates meet in this area. Some volcanoes, they are located far from the margins of tectonic plates. These type of volcanoes appear over hot spots, and this is where magma from deep in the mantle rises and melts through the lithosphere. Ring of Fire. Here's a map of the Ring of Fire. Earthquakes and tsunamis. Causes and detection. As the tectonic plates grind or slip past each other, the earth will shake and tremble. This is an earthquake. Tectonic plates slip past each other at what's called a fault or a transform boundary. A tool called a seismograph, it can detect and measure the size of the waves created by an earthquake. The location deep inside the earth where the earthquake begins is called the focus, and the point directly above the focus on the surface of the earth, this is the epicenter. Damage. Earthquakes, they can damage land and structures. They can cause landslides, land displacement, fires from broken gas lines, collapsed buildings. Often, after an earthquake, you will experience an aftershock, and these are smaller magnitude quakes, and they can continue for days afterwards. Tsunami. Sometimes an earthquake under the ocean causes a tsunami or a giant ocean wave. A tsunami, it can travel across the ocean at 450 miles per hour. It can produce giant waves from 50 to 100 feet or even higher, especially as it approaches the coastline. In December 2004, a tsunami from a quake in the Indian Ocean near Indonesia struck areas across Southeast Asia, South Africa, and East Africa. 225,000 people, they died immediately. Volcanoes. Eruption. The process of volcanic eruptions, what happens is that magma, gases, and water from the lower part of the crust or the mantle, it collects in an underground chamber. And then under pressure, or when water makes contact with the hot magma, the materials will pour out of the crack in the Earth's surface. Magma, it can flow slowly across the land and spread over a wide area and cool. Magma that's reached the Earth's surface, we call that lava. Volcanoes, they do not erupt on a predictable schedule. Human-environment interaction. Minimizing damage. The more developed Pacific Rim nations, they've taken some steps to limit physical property damage and human death from disasters that impact the region. One thing they've done is to enact strict building codes for all new construction. Build things that won't fall down very easily. They've installed seismic vibration devices, or dampers, that dissipate the wave energy inside of a structure. Kind of like a shock absorber on a car. They've used lightweight construction materials like bamboo in houses so that any collapse will minimize the damage to the occupants. Seismic networks. Seismic networks, what they do is collect and study the ground motions from a large number of seismographs dispersed over a wide geographical area. These networks, they monitor volcanic and tectonic plate activity, and they give advice to planners and emergency responders. They let them know what needs to be done at least a little bit in advance. Tsunami warning systems. Tsunami warning systems, they're made up of two components: a network of sensors in the ocean to detect tsunamis, and then a communications infrastructure that will issue timely warnings or alarms to people on the land so that they can evacuate the coastal area. Of course, no tsunami warning system, it can't protect against a very sudden tsunami, one where the coast is very close to the epicenter of the quake. Disaster preparation. Communities make emergency plans in order to minimize destruction and death. The eruption of active volcanoes, these can usually be predicted somewhat in advance, and you can evacuate the immediate area. Residents in low-lying coastal areas, they can flee a tsunami, especially if they have a plan in advance. You need to have a designated route to higher ground. In earthquake zones, people will prepare an emergency supply kit in advance. To prepare for emergencies, first responders, what they do is practice drills so they are prepared for the real thing. The end. Thank you for your attention.